You are Locked On Clippers Postcast, part of Locked On Sports Los Angeles on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Well, hello and welcome to the Locked On Clippers Postcast on the Locked On Sports LA YouTube channel, the place to hang out when every game is done. Well, almost done. It's pretty much in the books, but not just yet. About a minute to go. Clippers up 108-95 at this point. You can also listen wherever you find your podcasts on the Locked On Clippers podcast feed. I am Pete Fox, covering sports in LA, dating back to 2007 for ESPN LA and NBC Sports Radio. Tonight's episode of the Locked On Clippers Postcast is brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use the code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase. Well, a nice win tonight by all accounts, even though the Sixers come in without Joel Embiid, who evidently got suspended 3 games for going after a reporter, which was always one of my biggest fears, being in a situation like that, or like the Ryan Leaf situation where the player, you ask a question and they don't like it, and they're always grumpy and accusatory, and they feel like you're trying to paint them into a corner even when you're just asking a question. So I don't have a problem with Joel Embiid getting suspended for going after a reporter. You can't do that. You just can't. You have to be an adult, and it doesn't appear like Joel Embiid is. So they were without him tonight, and just one win for them on the season. They're now 1-6 after this loss. Just 2 games. This is the second for Paul George, who had a pretty decent night tonight. 7 of 9 shooting, 2 of 3 from beyond the arc. It felt like so much more. 18 points in total, getting booed most of the time. They had a nice little tribute to him during the game. The Clippers are a class act. Look, that didn't have to be done. Paul George was there, 4 or 5 years. Good times. Yeah, it made the team good, but they didn't win anything. They got to the Brian Seaman pointed out that they had a big win in the conference finals, but ended up losing. They didn't win anything with Paul George. So they didn't have to give him any sort of tribute. It's not like he's retiring. So I thought that was nice of the Clippers to do that for him. Games in the books now, 110-98, back-to-back wins for the Clippers, led once again by Norm Powell, who has just been locked in. 8 of 10 shooting, 6 of 8 from beyond the arc, 26 on the night, his 7th consecutive game with 20 or more. So that's nice to see. That is absolutely needed by the Clippers. But the other nice thing to see in this win for them is guys like Derek Jones Jr. and Terrence Mann having better nights. I really feel like Derek Jones Jr. is fitting in nicely. Amir Coffey, another double figures night, 24 minutes, 4 of 8, 2 of 3 from beyond the arc. Didn't have to hear as many coffee puns from Brian Seaman, but we did hear some, something about buzzing. It's out of control. It's got to dial it back. He has got to just put that away, put it in his back pocket every now and then. It's just too damn much coffee puns. He wasn't like, it's not as if Amir Coffey wasn't on the team last year. It's not as if Brian Seaman is new to Amir Coffey. I didn't hear any of this last year. I don't know what's going on. Did he spend a year writing the coffee puns? Did he have to get Amir Coffey to sign off on it? Did he have to become more familiar with Coffey, or wait? I don't understand. I mean, Coffey is every bit as good this year as he was last year. How come we didn't get our face blasted with coffee puns last year? Thankfully, maybe I didn't start covering the team until the first of the year when I started this job with Locked On. So maybe he was doing that at the start of the year, November, December. And then by the, turn of the calendar, he got tired of it and gave up on it. I hope, because I'm over it already. They're not funny. As much as I like Brian Seaman and think he does a very good job and is a very creative guy, it's just cornball. It is cornball. It is a reason that the Clippers are second fiddle in LA and always will be to the Lakers. That is something that you look at and you go, that is one of the things the Clippers do, or one of the things that kind of hangs over the head of the Clippers that makes them a second fiddle to the Lakers. They should have, I'm not saying they should have gotten rid of Brian Seaman, but they should have had a talk with him and said, hey, we're moving in a new building. We're trying to change our image. We're trying to be a contender. We can't have that goofy, childish pun stuff happening all the time. I feel like I love the new Clippers logo. I just look at it and I go, why didn't they change the whole makeup of the team? New hats. I love this hat, and this logo is cool too, but they got a new logo. I think the new logo is cool. They could have gotten just new uniforms, new color scheme. Everything could have and should have been new, just to kind of change the face of the organization, to get out from under decades and decades of being mediocre. There've been plenty of times when they've been good. They're not afraid to spend money under Ballmer. So we look at this team and say, why are they not better? Who knows? There's a bunch of different reasons, but where we sit right now is 500, 4-4, still no Kawhi Leonard, still no word as to when he'll be back. But the team we have on the floor right now is improving, gelling, playing good basketball, beating some decent teams. They beat the Warriors. I was incorrect in saying that they beat the Suns and handed them their only loss this season. That was wrong. They played the Suns tight in that first game of the year, lost by 3, I believe, but did not win. This Sixers team is obviously going in the wrong direction right now, 1-6 after this 110-98 loss. But a lot of good players on this team, so it's a nice win for them. The thing about tonight that I was a little unimpressed with was James Harden's ability to score. Finished with 18, so got it going a little bit in the second half, especially in the third quarter. He had a nice third quarter, but only 1 3, 1 of 6 from beyond the arc. His free throws could be better. He only missed 2, but James Harden's a good shooter. He shouldn't miss any, right? 7 of 9 from the free throw line. That's not great. 5 of 15 from the floor. But what he did have working was his passing eyes. His passing mindset was locked in tonight. 6 assists and a handful of alley-oops. He was throwing alley-oops from all over the floor, and that was really exciting to see. One of them from half court, which got on the bucket list, which we'll do here after the break. And wasn't just throwing him to, Zubats like he normally does. Actually, for Zubats, it's the little pocket dump pass. Tonight he had an alley-oop to Zoo. He had one to Kai Jones. He had him, I believe there was another one to Norm Powell, or maybe Norm Powell threw one. Derek Jones caught one from Harden. So at least 3 really nice, exciting alley-oops, which was fun to see. And since he wasn't shooting, I felt like, all right, well, at least he's contributing by making good passes that are scoring buckets. I thought the defense early for the Clippers was nice. They came out, active hands, turning the ball over or causing turnovers. And they had a really nice points off of turnover stat tonight in the first half alone, 18 points off of turnovers. And they held Philly not turning the ball over to just 4 points off of turnovers. So they did a nice job there. But the comment coming out of the break to Christina Pink was that the coaches thought they looked lethargic. And at times I saw that, but that was really just James Harden for me. When he was penetrating and kicking, it was slow and lazy. It was like every time he'd get into the lane and try to kick, it was almost as if he was trying to draw a foul. There was not a lot of energy there. There was not a lot of, I'm going to draw you in and then kick. It was like, I'm just going to draw a foul. That's what it felt like to me. And that's where I felt like at times it was lethargic, just on a whole. But I felt James Harden at time was the biggest offender of their lethargy. The win tonight for the Clippers, they're fourth. They're now 4-4 on the season. Back-to-back wins at Intuit Dome, 110-98 as they beat the Sixers. I'm Pete Fox. This is the Locked On Clippers postcast on the Locked On Sports LA YouTube channel, the place to hang out when every game is done. You can also listen wherever you find your podcasts on the Locked On Clippers podcast feed. All right, tonight's episode of the Locked On Clippers postcast is brought to you by SKIMS. Guys, sometimes intimate moments happen spontaneously, and we always want to be ready so we can perform in the bedroom. SKIMS provides access to treatments that can help you stay hard and last longer, giving you that boost of confidence so you can be ready whenever the mood strikes. SKIMS is changing men's healthcare by providing you with access to affordable sexual treatments from the comfort of your couch. The process is 100% online so that you have no need for uncomfortable doctor visits. You just do it through video chat. No insurance is needed. And one low price covers everything from treatments to ongoing care. Start your free online visit today at hims.com/lockedon. That's HIMS.com/lockedon. for your personalized ED treatment options. hims.com/lockedon. The product mentioned are chewable compound products which are not approved by or verified for safety or effectiveness by the FDA. Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan. Clippers come away with a 110-98 victory over the 76ers, who, of course, tonight were led by Joel Embiid and Kelly Oubre Jr. at 18 apiece. I'm sorry, not Joel Embiid. He was out finishing off his 3-game suspension. Former Clipper Paul George was leading the way. Had a nice night shooting, 7 of 9, a couple of threes, and 2 of 2 from the line, 7 rebounds and 3 steals. So it was nice to see that. I thought it felt like Paul George was doing a lot more damage than he was. But as I watched Paul George on the Sixers, I didn't feel like, wow, how good would the Clippers be if they had him? I don't feel like he's missed. I'm sorry. I don't know about you guys, but I just don't feel like there's a big hole that is in the Clipper rotation because Paul George isn't there. And when Paul George and Kawhi Leonard were both healthy, it didn't seem like there was enough basketball to go around. So when and if, I keep saying when and if, because we just don't know. When and if Kawhi gets healthy and gets back on this team, I feel like he'll fit in nicely, right? They can use more scoring. Probably Terrence Mann goes to the bench and becomes the 6th man. You're not going to sit Norm Powell down. He's too good. Is too important to this team as far as scoring. And that's really nice to see that he has stepped into that role confidently. Here is tonight's bucket list, the top 5 or so buckets of the game as I saw it. For number 5, really sweet, as I mentioned, James Harden. I'm all confused with Paul George being on the other team. James Harden was dishing the ball nice. He wasn't scoring a lot tonight, 5 of 15, but was all about the assists. Had a really nice alley-oop to Kai Jones from like half court at the 3:30 mark of the first. Made it a 1-point ball game, 21-20 Sixers at that point. For number 4, Norm Powell got hot in the second at the 8:25 mark, hit a 3 to make it 24-23 Clippers. Then few minutes into the third, it was early, 10:30 mark of the third, 57-51 after a Norm Powell 3. That was their biggest lead of the night at the time. Then for number 3, a Norm Powell alley-oop to Derek Jones Jr. at the 5:30 mark of the third. That made it 66-62. For number 2, a Norm Powell 3 at the 10:25 mark of the fourth. That made it 89-72. And again, put Norm Powell over 20, his 7th consecutive game in with 20 plus. And for number 1, Amir Coffey hit a big 3 at the 9:25 mark, made it 94-72 as the Clippers were comfortably on top at that point. I feel like James Harden really needed a little bit more offense tonight. But as I said, it felt at least he was contributing with the passing, but he just was off. And it was nice to see the Clippers be able to withstand that. And fortunately, the note I have is that he needed to get going in the third, and he did. So that's where the lion's share of his points came. I think he had 4 total points in the first half. So to finish with 18 is a very respectable, nice second half. But there are times when I watch James Harden, I feel like I'm watching a different guy. He just, there are polar opposites in his game within the game, right? There are times when he looks great. He starts banging down threes. He gets hot. He's decisive. And then there are other times when he's slow and indecisive. He was running the break in the first, and it didn't look good to me. I thought it could be better. Very indecisive. Wasn't trying to find somebody initially. He was like doing that draw the foul thing that he does when he's in the lane, to me, is one of the ugliest plays in basketball. And I don't know how it works all the time, but it does. So I can't really complain too much because it gets him to the line a lot. But at least when he's trying to draw the foul with the leg out at the 3-point line, which again, he is one of the most efficient guys in the NFL doing that move, drawing fouls outside the arc. It at least has some sort of, rhythm to it. His little, not to mention, it looks like it's complete traveling. I don't understand how it's not traveling. You're not supposed to be able to take 3 steps. It's 1 step. He takes 1, 2, and then elevates. So that's a 3rd step to me. And always gets hammered because he's so lethargic and slow to elevate. So, I mean, I guess this is what comes with the age. I don't know how old he is exactly. What is it? 34 or something like that. I don't know that he can keep up that 100% energy for an entire game. 35. So maybe it makes sense. Maybe it's what we should expect. I guess I just have to get used to it. But he is without a doubt the leader of this team. And if they're going to do anything, he's got to be the guy, right? He's got to be the guy that keys it all until Kawhi gets back. And I feel like when that happens, if that happens, they really are going to be a very good team. They know how to play together now. And I feel like he'll fit in pretty quickly. The other thing I like to see tonight, not only was Norm Powell banging down the threes from beyond the arc, he was penetrating and creating his own shot. That's one of the things I feel like Norm Powell has really improved upon this year, creating his own shot. He's not just a catch and shoot guy anymore. And I feel like the Clippers need that from him a lot because that's what Kawhi can do. And when Kawhi is not playing and you don't have Paul George anymore, you need a guy who can create his own shot that's not named James Harden, because James Harden is not a regular contributor to the final score, right? There are times when he gets red hot and you're like, yes, keep it coming. Let's go feed him. And then there are other times when you're like, no, just keep passing, like tonight, right? Again, in the third quarter, it was great, but it took too long to get there. Again, they got there, and that's all that matters. This game probably could have been uglier than 110-98. Both Jackson and Brian Seaman during the game were commenting that it felt like the Clippers should be ahead by more than they are. It should have been a bigger blowout. And I kind of agree, but at the same time, I felt like there was a sense of confidence that they weren't terribly worried. They were only down 3 at the end of the first, tied at the break, a huge third quarter, 33-17, and then they lost the fourth because it was pretty much salted away and over at that point. Everybody was chipping in, but they proved tonight, I think, that they can hold on to a lead. It didn't feel like at any point the Sixers were starting to threaten. Like, oh no, I know Brian Seaman mentioned it a few times, but it got a little bit lazy in the third quarter, a little sloppy, a little loose. Start of the fourth. Like, all right, we're up big at this point. We don't necessarily need to focus. Chris Dunn had a nice game, a nice dribble drive there, dunk late in the third. That made it 84-68. He finished the night for the Clippers with just 4 points, played 18 minutes. Amir Coffey again, 4 of 8, 2 threes for 11 Bones Highland got in there very late at the end of the game, 3 minutes. Kai Jones, 9 minutes, just that one alley-oop dunk that made the bucket list. And Nick Batum played 20 minutes, 3 of 6 from the floor, hit a 3 for 7 points. Terrence Mann started. He had 7 points as well in 21 minutes, 3 of 6. But most of that action from him came in the third quarter, part of that big lead from them. He had 7. I think all of his points came in the third quarter. Yeah, 7 points in the third quarter. He had a 3 and then a nice layup, back-to-back buckets for them, part of a 14-2 run for the Clippers. They played good defense, caused turnovers, got in passing lanes. I think that's the thing about this team that I'm most encouraged about. And even when they're lethargic and slow, their defense is so improved thanks to Van Gundy. Let's not overlook that. Van Gundy has been an asset so far, 8 games into this season. Clippers 110-98, back-to-back wins at Intuit Dome to give the fans the excitement of winning there on back-to-back in back-to-back games, something they had not experienced all year long. It's the Locked On Clippers postcast on the Locked On Sports LA YouTube channel, the place to hang out when every game is done. You can also listen wherever you find your podcasts on the Locked On Clippers podcast feed. We appreciate you allowing us to be your source for your team every day. All right, tonight's episode of the Locked On Clippers postcast is also brought to you by Game Time. Game Time is one of my favorite apps when it comes to getting tickets, because you can always get a deal. There are, I get really frustrated at times when people start complaining about the price of eggs and milk. I mean, that's a whole nother thing. Sorry. When people start complaining about the price of tickets and, it's so expensive to go to games. It can be, sure. I'm not going to deny that. But if you look around and you use an app like Game Time, you can find deals, right? If you just want to go take your kids and go experience a game, you can do it a lot cheaper on an app like Game Time. And if you find a game like tonight on a Wednesday, the weekend games are always going to be more than the midweek games. And depending on the opponent, every game's price is different. So with the Game Time app, you can, if you're trying to find a special deal, they have cool things like wait up till 1 hour before the game starts and the price comes down. You can also see the view from the seat. So if you think maybe if I go up a little bit higher, it'll be cheaper and I'll still get a spectacular view. So these are all things that are available for you on the Game Time app. It also has the first edition of the tournament Choque de Gigantes. It'll take place at Lone Depot Park from 11/8 to 11/10, featuring the top league teams from Venezuela, Puerto Rico, and the Dominican Republic. Game Time is offering 10% off on Choque de Gigante tickets during the duration of this deal runs from now until the 8th of November, which is a couple of days away from right now. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time Picks. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use the code Locked On NBA or $20 or for $20 off your first purchase. Again, that's Locked On NBA for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, redeem that code Locked On NBA. Download the Game Time app today. What time is it? It is game time. Tonight's show also brought to you by Bilt Rewards. Listen up, renters. Ever feel like you're stuck in this loop of rent payments, just watching your money vanish into thin air? It's time to turn that rent game around and start earning some serious rewards. That's where Bilt Rewards comes in. Okay, real talk. We've all been there, feeling like we're burning cash with those rent checks. It's frustrating, right? But here's the deal. Bilt Rewards has figured out a way to make rent more rewarding. Say goodbye to the money bonfire and hello to a renter's revolution with Bilt. Use points to jet off on a dream vacation. Put your points toward a flight or a hotel stay with 500 plus airline points and 700,000 plus hotels and properties. You can also use your points to book fitness studio classes, redeem them towards rewards, future rent payments. They're designed to meet your lifestyle. Earn points by paying rent right now when you go to the built.com website /LockedOnNBA. That's joinbilt.com/lockedonnba. Join joinbilt.com/locked-on. Make sure to use our URL so they know we sent you. Joinbilt.com/lockedonnba. Start earning points when you pay your rent payments. Do it today. Sounds like a pretty good deal right there. I have a similar thing where I get points for buying gas, and you can turn them into rewards. You can turn them straight into cash. So it's a great idea and a very cool benefit. So check it out. It's the Locked On Clippers postcast on the Locked On Sports LA YouTube channel. Clippers, their 4th win of the season, back-to-back wins, beating the 1-win Sixers, who are now 1-6. I look at the Sixers and I go, I don't think that $200 million for Paul George was a good deal. Is that going to make them a better team? A lot of former Clippers on that team. Not getting a lot of time. Jackson got in there. Eric Gordon got in there. Eric Gordon, 17 minutes, 0 for 2, 1 free throw for 1 point. KJ Martin, another former Clipper, 18 minutes, 5 of 6, scored 10 points. Paul George had 18 in 24 minutes. Caleb Martin, 14 points. Drummond had 9 in 32 minutes. Tyrese Maxey was hot early in the game, but ended up leaving late in the game with an injury to his hammy. 32 minutes, 5 of 13, 1-3 for 12 points. And Kelly Oubre also had 18, going 8 of 12. Clippers led again by Norm Powell, who has really started to come into his own as a starter. 8 of 10, 6 threes, perfect from the line for 26 points. Sean the Bomb, not a Clippers fan. Well, thank you for checking in anyway. Is there a Lakers guy? Yes, there is. His name's Dave Palais, and he is getting what they call here at Locked On onboarded. So he is learning the system and should be here doing Lakers postcasts sooner before later. Appreciate you checking in here, Sean. Have you stopped celebrating the the Dodgers postseason yet? Because I just stopped celebrating the Dodgers yesterday, and I think we all know why that ended yesterday. Because yesterday was not fun. I wore all the same Dodger gear that I wore for Game 5 when they won the World Series, hoping it would create some momentum. It did not. So we have to suffer for another 4 years. Hopefully we all survive. Clippers survived tonight comfortably. 110-98. Amir Coffey had a nice game, hoop and a harm in the second. The layup was just tight. Like, I thought it was just, air awareness, acrobatics, hanging and banging and drawing the foul and getting the ball into the net. He has really solid air awareness. He is a good basketball player when he is off of the floor, and looked good again tonight, shooting the ball as well for the Clippers off the bench. 24 minutes, 11 points, leading the Clippers bench. The Clippers, all in all, I thought handled this game rather comfortably, which was nice to see. Even at times when they were not playing as a unit, they were a little lethargic. The defense was active. The hands were active, breaking up passes, deflecting balls. Finished the night with, as for their turnovers, 20, which is, that's how many they caused. That's a lot of turnovers by the Sixers. As for the Clippers, they had 17. Not great, but at least they won that battle. And again, in the first half alone, the Clippers scored 18 points off of the turnovers they caused from the Sixers and only surrendered 4 off of turnovers to Philly. So all in all, positive night, 110-98. Clippers off tomorrow, back to work on Friday. That's their next game. It'll be against the Sacramento Kings on the road in Sacramento at 7:00. Then on Saturday, it'll be back home to face the Raptors 7:30 Saturday night, which is when I will talk to you. So I will not see you on Friday, but I will see you on Saturday. Thanks for listening. Thanks for jumping in. Thanks for the comments. It's the Locked On Clippers postcast. We appreciate you allowing us to be your source for your team every day. Again, Clippers back to 500, 4-4, back-to-back wins added to a dome tonight. Taking care of business against the 1-win Sixers, 110-98 the final. Have a good night. We'll talk on Saturday.